Watch what you bet tonight. Some big-time action across the NBA and college basketball. We'll get you set and ready for here. SEC top 25 battle in the state of Kentucky. Look, Louisville and Duke are playing in the state of Kentucky. Let's not leave the SEC out here. LSU is going to travel down and make this game 7 p.m. in Rupp Arena. If we take a look at the early line movement, opened up, Teddy, as high as 9.5 in some outlets, but down to 8.5 right now. LSU 5-1 straight up on the road, 4-2 against the spread. LSU, Teddy, even better as a dog, 4-1 ATS. What are we looking forward to? Looks like this young team from Kentucky, Coach Cal's got him going in the right direction here.
He sure. I mean, the upside for Kentucky is national championship. I mean, they have that level of talent on their roster, and they've certainly played their best basketball since the start of SEC play. The Wildcats over the last month have been an elite championship contender. All that being said, LSU is not a team I have any rush in stepping in front of, especially in this underdog role, especially on the highway. You want to talk a team that has not just been finding ways to hang tough, but finding ways to win in straight up on the highway in SEC play? That's the LSU Tigers. Straight up wins at Mississippi State, Missouri, A&M, Ole Miss, Arkansas. That's 5-0 straight up, 5-0 ATS on the road. Now, Kentucky's better than all those teams. They're a lot better than all those teams. Except for, Mississippi State's pretty good. But the rest is not. Those aren't elite juggernauts that LSU is beating on the highway. But the last 2 years, the meetings have been decided by 3 and 7 points. Although, worth noting, LSU was plus 25 when they lost by 7 right on this floor 2 years ago. So from a betting market standpoint, Tigers really starting to gain respect. We're seeing it when we look at the historical numbers versus this point spread this evening. All that being said, LSU's a tough out. They are not a team I have any rush, any interest in standing in front of, but know that Kentucky has the ability to put this game away at some point if LSU can continually pound the ball down low into their big men and get good looks by the hoop.
From one side of Kentucky, Teddy, to the other, Duke, as we just said, is going to invade the Yum Center here. We'll see what interesting things take place. But when we're looking from a betting strategy and standpoint, it's not so much, Teddy, Duke just winning the basketball game. That's not what we need, even though they are a perfect 5-0 straight up away from home in Durham. But if we're taking a look at 4-1 against the spread, they're certainly making you money, made you money on Saturday versus UVA if you did pick up that ticket as well. Duke is also 3-1 against the spread when favored on the road this year. So cashing tickets is certainly what they do. Taking a look from a Louisville perspective, 6-2 against the spread this year at home. Teddy, 7-4 against the spread versus ACC foes. This is your consummate tale of what do we think is going to happen and what do we think is going to take place. Does Duke, after that huge going to take place when we flip the script and head to Louisville? Do we get a letdown in this environment? Does Louisville rise up? What are we looking at here, Teddy?
We might. Let's put it this way. I have no interest in stepping in front of Louisville in this ball game. And I understand last year's meeting, 82-56, one-sided affair. Duke ran them out of the gym, and they're capable of doing that. But Chris Mack is a coach that I respect tremendously. And Louisville, while they haven't been this point spread juggernaut, they're getting better. They're getting better by the week, and that's a program that's certainly going in the right direction in the post-Pitino era. And you look at Mack this year, what is the constant of Chris Mack's teams? They are tough as nails. You want them in the underdog roles. This year, at +3 or higher, Louisville's been in this role 8 times. They've cashed 6 tickets at +3 or higher underdogs this season. 6-2 ATS in that role. Yum Center, all right, it's not what it has been at times, which is as an elite college basketball home court as you can find at times. Maybe not this year, it hasn't been that strong, but I do think they're going to give Duke a battle tonight, and Duke's going to cover this game. They're going to have to hit free throws down the stretch if they don't get knocked off outright. I like Louisville plus the points in this one.
There you go. We'll see if they bounce back and can pick up that victory, or how's Duke going to respond there with Coach K. Moving over to the hard court in the NBA, Teddy, the Warriors, otherwise known as the Money Burners, are on the court and also taking money. No surprise, Teddy. Looks like we opened up at 8.5, somewhere 9s offshore, but looks like it's settling right in around that 9.5, 9 number, over under 226.5. But when you look at Golden State, always the more talented team, but can they cover? Certainly haven't been putting money in bettors' pockets who have been backing them throughout the season. If we take a look at the Jazz coming in 14-13 straight up on the road, so they are being competitive. but still a 13-13-1, almost a coin flip when they cover. But the one thing's for sure here is if you continuously back those Warriors, you ain't making any money, Teddy. Can they make some money tonight?
No. Well, of course, they can make money tonight, but over the long term, there is no possible way. If you say, I'm going to bet the Warriors in every game, you will lose. And if you bet against the Warriors in every game in the regular season, I expect you to continue cashing more than you don't. Is it going to be an enormously profitable strategy? Maybe. It's been pretty profitable so far this season. And again, Golden State back-to-back wins in which they were trailing by at least 17 points. They were 17 points down against Phoenix on Friday, came back to win the game. They were 19 down against Miami. Cousins hit those 2 free throws with 5 seconds left, and they won the game by 2. This is a Steph Curry quote. We talk about how good this lineup is, and Green and Durant and Thompson and Curry and Cousins, and best lineup in NBA history, and yada yada. Quote, still a feeling out process in terms of lineup and just understanding what we were trying to do every possession. We will correct it. Of course, 1-4 against the spread the last 5 ball games, continuing to cost their backers money. Meanwhile, Jazz are what now? 12-3 their last 15. 5-0 against the spread their last 5 against Golden State. They have given the Warriors fits in recent meetings. Both meetings, last 2 meetings have been, down to the wire, one-shot affairs at the end, one-possession games. Ricky Rubio, post-trade deadline. There was a lot of rumors about Utah going for Mike Conley from Memphis. They didn't get him. They didn't make any big deals. Rubio's quote, we have a great group of guys, and I've never been on a team like this. We have each other's back. He also, I think there was more to that quote. But the point was, there was. There was more to the quote, but the concept of that he was saying was that it's not always about making a deal. Sometimes not making a deal makes the team better. And the fact that Utah was not a big player at the trading deadline, they're playing good ball right now. The team chemistry is clearly there, and they have given Golden State all kinds of problems in basically every recent meeting.
Hey, Teddy, quick question on that as we look at odds-on favorite. They know in the locker room they're the odds-on favorite. Is there anything now finding through to the playoffs? Do we think the Warriors will be locked in at this point, or is it more of let's just get there healthy? We know we can get to the finals because we saw the same type of stuff with the Cleveland Cavaliers over the past year or two with LeBron saying, look, just get me to the playoffs. I'll handle it and get to the finals. Could that play into it a little bit heading down the stretch with the Warriors, or do you think, no, they might get locked in for the playoffs and finally dial it in for once?
Well, even if they dial it in, look at where the markets are pricing them. They're pricing them like the best team in NBA history. So if Golden State actually starts winning, covering point spreads, the numbers are only going to go higher and higher and higher for the Warriors. The bookmakers have to catch up. So I do believe that Golden State comes out of the West this year. I don't think there's anyone that's good enough to beat them. Now, can someone test them? Maybe. There's a funny injury, a funny play. Funny things happen in playoff series, especially with teams that have played a whole lot of postseason games over the last 4 years, like the Warriors have, making all those trips to the finals. But they are the prohibitive favorites to come out of the conference. I do not think there's any money to be made supporting them.